Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, December 12th. A lot to talk about this morning. It looks like we'll have two storms to deal with in the Mid-Atlantic region and Northeast U.S. over the next several days. The first storm looks like it'll become predominantly a rain event. However, there can be some icing at the onset tomorrow in places like the D.C. metro region and even up to the Philadelphia metro region. We'll have to watch for an initial burst of precipitation that could take place when it's cold enough for some freezing rain to occur, possibly some ice pellets mixed in as well. Again, predominantly a plain rain event by late tomorrow and tomorrow night into much of the day on Saturday, and it could become a soaking rain event. Another storm, storm number 2, looks like it'll impact much of the Mid-Atlantic region and Northeast U.S. from later Monday into Tuesday, and there certainly can be enough cold air around for some snow and or ice, at least at the onset, even in the I-95 corridor region. Again, we're talking later Monday into the day on Tuesday. Let's take a look at the current surface map. Strong, cold, high pressure sitting right on top of the Mid-Atlantic region, and that is one of the reasons why there's a potential problem for early tomorrow morning, depending on how quick that onset of precipitation takes place. We have a cold air mass in place. The ground conditions are quite cold and won't warm up much today. We'll have high temperatures anywhere in the mid to upper 30s, well below normal for this time of the year, despite plenty of sunshine. Not much going on right now in the southeast U.S., but this frontal boundary zone will kind of act as a focus for convergence over the next 24 hours, and low pressure will form in the southeast U.S. quite rapidly during the morning hours on Friday, and then basically ride up along the Atlantic seaboard and impact the Mid-Atlantic region, Northeast U.S. from later tomorrow into the day on Saturday. Meanwhile, still have some precipitation all the way throughout the northwestern quadrant of the nation with coastal rains and inland snows, and that will be the case for the next couple of days or so, including some more significant snowfall for Sierra Nevada mountain range in eastern California. Well, let's take a look at the upper air forecast maps from last night's 6E GFS model run. And this is kind of all important, especially for the second storm. We'll see some big differences between the GFS model and the European model, which will have an impact on the storm track in the Monday-Tuesday time frame. But first things first, high pressure ridging dominating the scene here in the Mid-Atlantic region as we start the day on Thursday. Not only surface high pressure, but high pressure aloft, assuring us plenty of sunshine, but cold conditions for the day. Let's now move forward here. Watch a kind of a vigorous area of upper level energy dive southeast into the south central U.S. by tomorrow night, and that will help to set off that storm system over the southeast U.S. coastline during the day on Friday that ultimately rides right up along the Atlantic seaboard. And again, at the onset, there could be an initial burst of precipitation as early as tomorrow morning, especially in D.C. areas south of the Mason-Dixon line, but perhaps even up to Philadelphia region. And if so, it'll be cold enough for some freezing rain, maybe some ice pellets. Watch out for that possibility, especially in the D.C. metro region, especially on the western side of the district for the a.m. commute time. Let's move forward here by Saturday morning. A healthy rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, after that initial burst, that could be some freezing involved. It'll become predominantly a plain rain event, and it could come down heavy at times tomorrow night into the day on Saturday in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. That then pushes on by here by the second half of the upcoming weekend, and well, strong northwest winds, a cold air mass pushes in for the day on Sunday, especially Sunday night and Monday. And Monday we'll see clouds thicken up early in the morning, and then precipitation could arrive as early as Monday afternoon, perhaps in the form of snow or ice, even in the I-95 corridor region. Let's go ahead here. I just want to show the difference here between the GFS model. This is the forecast map at 500 millibars for Monday evening, and this all dictates where this second storm, the Monday-Tuesday storm, will end up going. The GFS model actually, and we'll see in a moment, cuts it well up to the west of the I-95 corridor. If so, that would assure a changeover to rain, or it certainly would increase the odds of a changeover to rain. It still could start as snow and ice. The European model, however, is a much farther east track, a more colder solution, and therefore a greater period of snow and ice. And we'll see the difference right now. Notice the strong wave, the northern stream wave. The northern branch has a very powerful upper level low on the GFS, and a second one down across the south central part of the country as of Monday night. Now we take a look at the European model, and here we go. This is the same time period. Not nearly as much of a feature in the north. It kind of what dominates in terms of the European forecast model is the southern stream system, and that's ultimately going to leads to a big difference in the storm track between the GFS and the Euro, and odds kind of favor, in my opinion, this solution here, but we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Some of it will actually be determined by exactly what happens with this initial storm in the Friday-Saturday time frame. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 6C GFS model run as we begin the day on Thursday. Very strong high pressure sitting right on top of the region. It was very good conditions for radiational cooling last night. Light winds, clear skies, a full moon. Actually became officially the full moon at 12:12 a.m. on December 12th. So quite a coincidence there, but high pressure sitting on top of the region today. Again with a cold air mass in place. Let's now move forward here as we go through the day. Plenty of sunshine. The high starts to shift off the coast, and that ultimately will lead to milder conditions here in the Mid-Atlantic region. But what could happen here is by tomorrow morning there could be a kind of a sneaky initial burst of precipitation in the morning hours, let's say in D.C. and especially areas south of the Mason-Dixon line, perhaps even all the way up into southeastern Pennsylvania. And if that happens, it could still be cold enough for some freezing on some surfaces, maybe some ice pellets to be mixed in. So there is a threat for some ice for the AM commute, especially in the D.C. area, maybe especially in the western and northern suburbs, and maybe all the way up to the Philadelphia metro region. We'll just have to watch for that potential initial burst of light precipitation early in the day on Friday. Now ultimately, it becomes warm enough for a plain rain event, especially tomorrow night into the day on Saturday. And it looks like it's going to be a slow enough mover that it will impact much of the Mid-Atlantic region for much of the day on Saturday. Unfortunately, it looks like that's the case, that the weekend begins certainly on a wet note. Could come down heavy at times tomorrow night into the day on Saturday in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all the way up throughout New England as well. And then ultimately that pushes on by Saturday night. The winds increase out of the northwest. Cold air mass pushes into the region here for the day on Sunday. Windy, cold Sunday, dry conditions, partly sunny skies, and then attention turns to the next storm. And here we go by Monday morning. A fresh new cold air mass in place. Now keep in mind the GFS takes this next system well to the west, but even with that kind of a storm track, can be an outburst of snow and or ice even in the big cities sometime during the day on Monday going into Monday night. Again, storm track here on the GFS is far to the west compared to the European model, which has a much more eastern solution, a more southern solution, and a colder solution than the GFS. And we'll just have to see how things play out. But the European scenario is certainly a reasonable scenario here, which would result in more snow and ice for the Mid-Atlantic region. And then we turn into Monday evening. Here we go. Still some icing and some snow across Pennsylvania, even in the warmer GFS solution. Eventually that changes over to plain rain, but again, that's with that storm track to the west. We'll have to see. There may be a storm track closer to the Mid-Atlantic coastline late Monday night, Tuesday time frame. So two systems to deal with in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., over the next several days. The first one becomes predominantly a plain rain event. However, there can be some icing tomorrow morning, especially in the D.C. area and other areas south of the Mason-Dixon line, maybe even up to southeastern Pennsylvania. But soaking rain, plain rain, likely tomorrow night and for much of the day on Saturday. And then storm number 2 looks like it'll have a cold air mass to deal with it, at least at the onset, and that could result in some accumulating snow or ice later Monday into the day on Tuesday, even in the I-95 corridor region. So a lot going on. Stay tuned to PerspectaWeather.com over the next several days. We have a lot of activity to talk about. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.